Have you ever woken in the dead of night, paralyzed, certain that someone or something was standing in your room? Perhaps you caught a glimpse of it in the corner of your eye, a figure darker than the darkness itself, watching, waiting, silent. They are known as shadow people, one of the strangest and most unsettling mysteries of modern folklore. But what are they really? Ghosts? Interdimensional beings? Or simply tricks of the human brain? Tonight, we'll uncover the theories, the history, and the disturbing encounters that surround these figures in the dark. The term shadow people may sound modern, but the phenomenon itself has been reported for centuries. Witnesses describe them as dark, human-shaped silhouettes, often featureless, and somehow more solid than a simple shadow should ever be. Some appear fleetingly, vanishing the moment you focus your eyes. Others linger for far longer, standing silently at the foot of the bed or pacing at the edge of a room. Almost all encounters carry the same chilling detail, a deep, instinctive feeling of dread. But these beings are not always described the same way. Some witnesses claim the shadows are a small and childlike. Others report tall, imposing figures, sometimes cloaked and sometimes wearing hats. The most infamous of these being the so-called Hat Man. Though the name shadow people is modern, the concept is much older. Across cultures, across centuries, humans have told eerily similar stories. In Islamic tradition, the jinn are said to dwell in hidden places, often appearing as dark, shifting figures. Among Native American tribes, tales speak of shadowy beings that cling to people, draining them of energy or signaling illness. In European folklore, especially during the Middle Ages, people spoke of night demons pressing down on their chest, paralyzing them while they slept. What is fascinating is how these accounts, from such distant times and places, echo the same description: a human-shaped shadow present in the darkness, bringing fear and dread. For those who believe shadow people are more than mere illusions, paranormal researchers have proposed several unsettling explanations. Some argue that shadow people are simply another type of ghost. Unlike the transparent phantoms of Victorian tales, these entities manifest as pure darkness, lingering between our world and the next. Others suggest they are visitors from a parallel reality. Briefly slipping into our dimension, their forms appear warped and incomplete, seen by us only as silhouettes. Perhaps most disturbing is the idea that shadow people are predators. Not predators of flesh and blood, but of emotion. According to this view, they feed on human fear, drawing energy from the terror they create. The Hat Man in particular is often linked with long-term misfortune, depression, and persistent feeling of despair. Science, of course, offers more grounded theories. One of the most common is sleep paralysis. This condition occurs when the brain awakens during REM sleep, but the body remains paralyzed. The mind, caught between dreaming and waking, often produces hallucinations, most commonly of threatening figures nearby. Neurologists explain that the sensation of pressure on the chest or the certainty that someone is watching are natural byproducts of this state, In other words, shadow people are the creations of our own half-dreaming brains. Another explanation is pareidolia, the human tendency to see patterns where none exist. In a darkened room, our brains can easily mistake coats, furniture, or shifting shadows for figures lurking in the dark. And yet, even with these explanations, there remained unanswered questions. Why do so many people across the world describe the same kinds of figures? Why the tall man with the hat? Why the overwhelming sense of malevolence reported again and again? The phenomenon isn't confined to folklore. It continues into the modern day with countless reports. In the late 1960s, a young boy in the United States described waking night after night to a dark man in a wide-brimmed hat standing in his doorway. Decades later, his adult children would report seeing the exact same figure in the very same house. In England, a woman in Manchester claimed to see a shadow standing at the foot of a bed for weeks on end. When she finally moved out, the next tenants reported the same nightly presence without ever knowing her story. Online forums are flooded with similar accounts. People from different countries, speaking different languages, yet all describing the same chilling encounter. A figure darker than the night itself, staring at them silently from the shadows. Among shadow people, one figure stands apart: the Hat Man. He's usually described as tall, thin, and unmistakably human in shape. Always featureless, but always wearing a broad-brimmed hat, sometimes a trench coat as well. Unlike fleeting shadows, the Hat Man is said to linger. Witnesses describe him standing in doorways or even sitting at the edge of the bed. Unlike other apparitions, he doesn't vanish the moment you look directly at him. Instead, he simply stands, watching. Some claim his presence coincides with long periods of bad luck, illness, or depression. Others believe he is not a shadow at all, but something far older, far more intelligent, and far more dangerous. So who or what are shadow people? Are they the products of our subconscious minds, visions conjured in the fragile space between dreaming and waking? Are they ancient spirits wound through our folklore for centuries? Or are they something stranger still, visitors from another world, glimpsed only in fleeting moments when our reality collides with theirs? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. One thing is certain: the reports continue, the accounts keep coming, and the shadows, whether real or imagined, remain with us. So the next time you wake in the night and feel that unmistakable sense of being watched, take a careful look into the darkness. You may just find that you are not alone. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you've ever encountered a shadow person, or believe you may have, share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experience. And if mysteries like this fascinate you, do not forget to subscribe for more explorations into the unexplained. Until next episode of What Really Happened, keep the lights on.